In today's video, I've got for you a real quick tip to improve your short and mid-range pitching, and something I'm actually working on in my own golf game. Make sure you check out this video. And you can see it started. Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You join me out on my short game area, and today's video is actually very relevant to me. It's something I'm working on in my short game, in my pitching, to improve my own game, and it's to improve the right arm position on the downswing to help me actually use the loft, use the bounce, and make sure I start it online. If you're new to my channel, you haven't already, and you do enjoy the content, make sure you hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and of course subscribe to my channel for free, at least 2 instructional videos a week. The info also for my social media is just coming along the bottom of the screen. So I'm hitting here a real short pitch. I've only got around 20 yards towards that back flag. I've got to hit it over water, over the rough, stop the ball relatively quickly. Now, a fault, and I said this is something I'm working on, a fault that I have, and I don't see it so much in my long game, it creeps in actually on the shorter shots, finesse shots, where I'm not hitting it as hard. But what I see on the downswing is the club just gets a little bit outside my hands too early, so working this way on the downswing, that tends to mean I shut the club face down, so it goes a little low, it starts to launch off to the left of the target, which again is going to give me that lower ball flight, a little bit more run, and starts to take the bounce off the golf club. So bounce is just that the trailing edge here is sitting lower than the leading edge, and we want to get that club coming through when we're pitching sole to the floor, so the back edge is hitting first. If we start getting that front edge digging, we've got to get that ball turf strike spot on, and even the best players in the world are striking the ground slightly before the ball on the majority of pitch shots, unless it's real hard turf where we're squeezing the ball there. You know, when we're playing out a rough, when we're wanting height, when we're wanting to use the loft and the bounce, we are striking the ground slightly before the ball, but we're utilizing the bounce of the golf club. So as I said, a fault of mine is I get that right arm working out a little bit high, the club works out in front of me, it shuts the club face down, and I tend to hit it a little low and a little left, and I just try and demonstrate effectively the fault, so that the club just works a little bit outside my hands. I'm going for the back pin, and I tend to pull the ball, and it obviously releases too far. So sensation I'm trying to get, and I'm doing a lot without a golf club first, is that I keep my trail arm folded and low. So I'm trying to keep my arm folded and low here. So on the start of the downswing, I'm trying to feel like my trail arm is actually staying lower than my lead arm in that transition. It's a little bit harder to do, I find, in these short swings, but I'm just getting that sensation of it staying low, staying folded, and where I want it to start to straighten and extend is here into impact. So it's staying folded and extended. Some of my better pitch shots, if I can get away with it, I just try and feel very wide, and that works quite well on probably this length, but I can't play that shot to too much distance, that real dead arm shot, but it just takes that elbow out. I just feel like I can go wide and wide and actually get that club working more around me. So what I'm going to try and get that feeling of is that elbow staying low and extending here into impact, and you can see on the downswing, what that means is the club is just a little bit behind my hands rather than the club working out in front of me. That helps me keep the loft, so the toe is a little bit more up towards the sky rather than that club face trying to shut down here. So the sensation is elbow low and forwarded, almost like that throwing, skimming stone position, and extending here into impact. Let's give it a whirl. So I'm going towards that top pin. I'm going to get that feeling of the elbow folded down. And extended at the right point. Now that was very soft. You can see it started much more on line. A fault that I guess I've almost developed to get away from this fault, and it's not to get away with it, to get away with it, is I tend to aim, and I see this for a lot of right-handed golfers, too far outright. So because I know that my fault is probably pulling the ball and hitting it a little low, I start aiming further and further right to target, and I can play some okay golf from there to a certain extent, and then I just get unstuck. So I almost have to get that sensation that I'm aiming a little bit further to the left for me as a right-handed golfer, but I'm trying to get that feeling that my trail arm stays low and folded, whereas extending is here into impact. So for me, it's a fold and throw. And you can see it started much more in line. The feeling that the club is more behind my hands. And I'd look back on camera and see that position. But if I can get the club more in this position, I'm starting to actually use the loft and the bounce correctly at impact, rather than getting the club working outside my hands where I shut that club face down. Work on your start line, look at the trajectory, look at it on video to see if you have that same fault of me. Where that club starts to work out, you'll see that trail arm work high, almost the shoulder going forwards. Now I could quite easily focus on the trail shoulder staying low, the elbow staying low. I like, for me, the feeling of the elbow folded and extended here into impact. And if I was hitting a slightly longer shot, it might just go over the back of the green. It's a great feeling of generating some speed here with that arm extension into impact. You want to create some spin, this is a great way to do it. So we can really get that ball checking, spinning, where my arm is extending here into impact. So it's a great sensation, and it may really help you working on that trail elbow, staying low in your pitching. Look at that club face position. If it's helping me, I know it could help you also. If you enjoy the content, as I said at the start, hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can. Check out my social media also.